Hi everyone, and it's time to wake up. Behind me is 2021, and in front of me is the new year. Not a great sound for a little horn? But hey, make do with what you can, because this will be indeed 2022 when my video comes out. Right now, I'm getting dressed to celebrate the new year, just like everyone else. I do my recordings on a Friday. And if I had to say what is one word that is going to encapsulate 2022, it's going to be science. Science will finally come to the forefront. It's been here for a long time, everyone. In 1921, 100 years ago, the first play on robotics was produced, R.U.R. And in it were the rules of robotics, where robotics should do no harm. That means AI for us, artificial intelligence. We've got to stop the biases, and we've got to be mindful that we're dealing with people and not pieces of anything, but human beings made of flesh and blood who have the same strengths and weaknesses of all of us on this planet. And we've got to be concerned, and I think we will be, because I'm seeing from the Financial Times a list of books that I am looking so forward to purchasing, and they're nonfiction. Piketty is coming out with another book on equality that Fred Studman of the Financial Times says it really gives you a chance to feel hopeful. And if Piketty says it's hopeful, that's good enough for me, since he's written so many excellent, excellent books. And I'm looking forward to Gorbachev's book on Putin and what he feels is happening in the Soviet Union and what could have been. So there's a lot going on. The James Webb Telescope took 30 years and about $10 billion, but it took international cooperation to get it up into the sky and let it monitor for the origins of our universe and new galaxies. So the focus is on science. And I think the focus should be on collaboration amongst all the nations, not COP26, not what the UN or the Paris Treaty has assigned, but all nations, since we're all suffering the same, whether it's the pandemic or it's climate catastrophes. We don't have any more time to fool around and look like we're the gray rhino, and we're going to be charging a gray rhino when he can just slaughter us with 1 foot. No, sirree. That's not in our cards. Our American can-do spirit has to come through. COVID will recede, and when it does, we do indeed have to build back in a much better way. We know how to save folks from tornadoes. We know how to save folks from fires. We just got to work at it and invest in our tribal populations, because they've been doing it for centuries. And there are groups all around the world who are looking to collaborate, whether it's on rising waters, new batteries and minerals for electric cars. There's a lot going on. In Chile, they've got a new constitutional Congress because they want to decide how they can move forward making a living out of their rare earths and still being sustainable. No sense buying an electric car if it's going to be made from the destruction of our planet. And any destruction in any part of our planet is our planet. It affects all of us. Tesla is going to also a Southeast Asian country, not in Latin America for him. He's going to look at nickel and look at how he can mine nickel sustainably. Otherwise, we got to come up with new ideas for electric vehicles if we're going to have a smaller carbon footprint. Already, I'm seeing interesting innovations on the pandemic and COVID. Israel is coming up with an oral vaccine called Oravax, and they've licensed it, 10 million doses, to Southeast Asia. It's in phase 1 trials. But I know that Israel's been working on conquering pandemics and viruses in particular for years. Before the pandemic started in November of 2019, I was at a medical conference at SUNY, and representatives from Technion were present as well. One of them, Norm Adair, was working on viruses. And when I asked him, which was prescient, when did he think that the next pandemic would arrive and would it be a virus, he said, no question it's a virus and it's going to happen. It's just a matter of timing. Little did I know, 4 months later, COVID would enter our world. So, science is working hard to make our world safer. I've seen breathalyzers, little teeny monitors that we can put up in our homes, our offices, our synagogues, our churches, that will analyze your breath for COVID or the flu. And they'll do it within seconds. Kind of makes the rapid test just a temporary measure, because there will be other ways to conquer the pandemic. So much is happening in our time. And I think the inventions will become quicker and faster. And it may seem like it took no time, but just like robots, that word's been with us in the dictionary for 100 years. Not so new at all. We're now going to be looking at the next generation of galaxies and black holes and supernovas and studying our sun. So I think that I am absolutely optimistic, and you should be too. And maybe we should be blowing our own horns in the new year when we finally come to realize what's important. We are. And the NLRB is recognizing that and acting accordingly. I can see them regulating not just Amazon, but the meatpacking industry and others. So labor once again will be ascendant. And labor, once it's ascendant, will no longer feel the effects of inflation. And when inflation is actually monitored the way it should be, you'll see that we're not that inflated after all, that we have an economy that is ready to burst forward with new ideas and new innovations. So, good to be back. Nice to see everyone another week. And I look forward with great anticipation to 2022. Have a blessed day, everyone. And see you next year. Bye now.